So my name is Nitesh and today we will build counter. So what is counter? Counter app is something like this where if I click on plus icon it will increment the value. It will increment as 1. If I click on minus value then it will decrement again to 0. I can increment value up to infinity or whatever I want and decrease value up to 0. So I can't decrease this to -1. Okay, so let's begin. This is simple. Okay, so we don't need any of the things. So if I run this project, this will certainly look like this. So I will remove all the things which we don't need. So I will remove this. Ah, okay, that's what it is. So now we need two buttons. So what I will do is will add a button as mine and a button as plus. Yeah. So I just want some style. So I will do class name as button. Hmm. Let's go to app.css. Let's remove this thing. And the one here is button with padding of one area. Okay. Then I don't need border. So border is equal to 0 pixel. Okay. I just need background color to be hash. Okay, okay, okay. Slightly dark. Okay, and color is obviously black, and font size is 26. So these are buttons, and in between those buttons, I need value. So I will add here h2 as 0. Okay, so I need this aligned in one line. So if I go to my app, I will add here display flex. Okay. Then I will say width is equal to suppose 500 pixels. First I want this alignment justify content center. Okay. Or justify content space around. Okay. This is not looking good. what I will do is let's keep text align center here, and if you go back to app.js, I will add here span. Um, I will say class name as count. I go here and say count is font size 20, and we need some padding also. Padding is 1 rem, and we just need a margin top to be 1 rem. Okay, so now nothing is happening here. Okay, bye. So we just need to increase this, right? So how we can do this? So we will go to app.js. So we need use state hook. So what is use state? Use state is hook which is used in newer version of React.js, where we can initialize value and set value using function. So this is the syntax. So let me write the syntax again. So syntax is like this: const square bracket counter and set counter is equal to use state. Okay, and I have to import this use state from React. So I have to import it like this: import use state from React. So what is the use state? What is the use of use? So use state is used to set values. Suppose if there is no use state, then how we set value? Suppose we want counter value, then how we set? We set like counter is equal to 0. And if I want to change the value of the counter, then I will write a function as set counter and manipulate this value, right? Counter is equal to counter plus 1 or minus 1, whatever it is. So this is how it look if we don't use state. For easier use case or to make it simple, we use state. So we have to just write counter. Suppose the initial value of counter is 0. So I will can write here count, and as always we have to write the variables in curly brackets because this is JSX. To differentiate between JSX and the JavaScript values, we have to write those values in curly bracket. Okay, now there is nothing changed. Suppose if I say initial value as 10, then you can see here. Okay. So if I click on plus, nothing is happening. So I want, if I click on this, increment the count. So I will say on click, I will say set counter is equal to counter plus 1. Same for minus. So I will just say minus, and initial value is 0. So if I click 1, 2, 3, okay, simple as that. Now what if I refresh this? Suppose if count is 5 and if I refresh, then it will become automatically 0, because this is state and state is stored until we don't refresh page. If we refresh page or redirect to another portion, then state will. Okay, so what we need to store this value somewhere. So here we can use the concept of local storage. So Windows has this local storage. So I will use something like this. Windows dot local storage dot set atom. So I just want to set as counter comma counter. But when this we want to execute means when we want to store this, if user click on plus or minus, so I have to write one function, say const handle click, where we get parameter as is increment. By default is increment. Okay, so if it is increment, if increment, then we will say value or var value. Okay, if it is increment, then I want value is equal to counter plus 1, else I will say counter minus 1, and whatever the value, okay, minus, and whatever the value is, we want to store that value in local storage, and also we want to set the value. So we will say value and handle. So we just have to say handle click handle click. So it is increment true. We just have to pass true, and here we have to pass false, because here we are decrementing value. So our pass here is increment. If it is increment, then increment value. If it is not, then minus, and fill the local storage and set value. So let's check if it's working or not. So we need to see where it is. So if we go to source, oh wait a minute, memory, no, application, okay, there it is, local storage. Okay, currently we have nothing. So if I click here, then you can see 1. If I click again, then you can see 2. And if I refresh this, then it's gone because we are not. If we go to our code, then as you can see, we are setting by default it to 0. So we have to check. We have to check Windows local storage dot get item and key. So key is counter. If it is there, then we want that value. If we have this counter, then we want that value. If there is no set, or if we don't have any value in local storage, then we want 0. Now we can see 6. If I hit refresh, then 6. Suppose if I clear this, and yes, now we have no local storage value, so that's why it is 0. So if I say 20, then here you can see 20, and now if I refresh, here it is 20. But if I clear, means there is no such value. If I clear, then there is no such value as counter. Here you can see key counter value 20. I manipulate that value to 25. Let's check 21. So if I clear this value, then it will become 0. So that is simple project for understanding of local storage, because local storage we are using in authentication. Sometimes there is option of remember me, so at that time we have to store that some values in our local storage. Okay, thank you for watching this video. And okay, here is one assignment for you. Let me just go ahead, create another button here. Okay, as reset. Okay, and whatever the value we have here, suppose currently we have 8, then it will automatically become 0 if I click on the reset button, then it will automatically become 0. Okay, and this scenario, okay, let's just handle this scenario that we want only up to 0. So here we can check if counter is greater than 0, then we want this. Okay, undefined. Okay, okay. Something really went wrong. Hmm. Okay, what we can do is we will just use this value directly. Okay, and now we'll undo this state. Okay, something went wrong. Let me just check. So first we will remove this. Okay, set value to 1 and okay. Now that's it. Okay, so if the counter value, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, mm, so we just have to remove this with this, then undo this one. Okay, this is wrong. Okay, okay. So what is happening here is what we are doing is we are, if the value is greater than 0, then obviously we are changing value. But what if value is not greater than 0? So in that case, either we have to assign this like this. Okay, let's first make this 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay, while incrementing we are incrementing values. Okay, okay, okay. So this is JavaScript problem. Means if we check type, if we check type, then this is obviously a string. So we just have to convert this into parse int, or rather than here, what we will do, we will just change that value here itself. So we don't have to implement that everywhere. Parse int. Now again remove this. Why I'm removing this? Because in local storage we have value of 311, which is very high. Now back to page 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now it is working. So what we did here is, first of all, we are setting here, checking here that if we have counter value or not in our local storage. If we don't have counter value, then it will give 0. We have or operator. Okay, and in handle click, as we are setting up the value, and in local storage we are storing values in the form of string, but now we want values in the form of int, integer. So we are converting this counter to integer, and here we are just incrementing, and here I have add one condition, which is if the counter is greater than 0, then only we are able to decrement value. So that's it. Okay. And as I said, assignment is this. Just add reset button. So if I click on reset, then it will automatically become 0. Thank you. Okay.